Good afternoon, Patriots, and welcome to the 75th audio chat in the Q News Patriot Rumble channel series. I am the Q News Patriot, joined again by election whistleblower and Gold Star mom, and as far as I'm concerned, an American hero, Tina Peters. My name is SG Anon. Earlier in
Thank
the, oh, it's good to have you here, Miss Peters.
good good morning, SG. I'm so grateful to you for getting the real news out there.
Well, it's sort of a calling on the platform here, and as I was about to tell the audience, just earlier this year, you and I had a discussion about some real news, exactly that particular topic, and that particular real news, of course, being the persecution that has been leveled against you very specifically and in a very focalized manner with respect to election integrity and efforts you've undertaken to secure the election, as I understand it, or our elections, excuse me. As I understand it, we have now entered into a period where a trial has been impaneled against you. The trial was initially delayed from the spring through the summer and towards this particular time frame. And so now we sort of stand down the barrel in that gauntlet of that. So it's really good to have you on. Do you mind to give us a little bit of a background, a refresher, if you will, of your story of where you fit into this Great Awakening and what's happening with this upcoming trial?
Yes, well, thank you, SG. I really appreciate it. So it's day after tomorrow starts the trial for the public. It will be broadcast, but if people can come to Mesa County, which is Grand Junction, Colorado, I would encourage you to do that. This is a nonpartisan effort for the people to see that this is not Democrat, Republican. This is protecting your vote, no matter who you are. So the trial, I was indicted on, it's a 10-count indictment, 7 felonies, 3 misdemeanors. They want to put me in prison for over 20 years. And we've got Merrick Garland, the whole show cast of characters, the Colorado AG, Secretary of State Jenna Griswold, her attorneys that have been sworn in by the prosecutor. We have the every motion that we've put out has been denied by the judge. But every motion that the prosecutors put out has been granted. They want to keep everything having to do with why I did what I did and the election machines out of the courtroom. They don't want the jurors to hear the truth. And so we'll see how the judge acts once the supporters and the people that want their vote, that want the election process to be transparent. We will see how he sides. And it's interesting, SG, that the indictment against me it's mislabeled. It says the people versus Tina Peters. The people don't want this. The people want fair, secure, honest elections, and they want honest and transparent election officials. And that's exactly what I did. I was fulfilling my duty, the oath that I took with the U.S. and the Colorado Constitution. So I can get into more detail as you like.
Well, I thought I would tee up a little bit more detail for the audience out there by highlighting the trailer for a movie called Selection Code, for which you are the primary subject. Your story is very compelling and remarkable. I've been to the website. I've read the briefs, the audit reports that were filed, the forensic evidence that empirically and unequivocally confirms exactly what was happening in the county that you, I believe, were the clerk of at the time, or sort of the retroactive clerk looking at the events that had occurred underneath that election cycle and those couple of different cycles. So give me a moment here. Let me pull this up. I'll give the audience out there, especially those that are meeting you for the first time, a little bit of context.
And upon examining those records, there are log files that deal with adjudication. Those are gone.
They're all gone? All of them?
Yes. They would have been gone if I hadn't have done a backup. These people are being selected, not elected. And when the person's vote isn't being honored,
Then it's all just an illusion.
Something has to change. If I have to hand count every single election from here on out, that's my commitment to the people.
What if it costs you your life?
Then I'll be with my son. I raised a Navy SEAL. I'm a Gold Star mom. Lost him 4 years ago. My blood and his blood is the same. I love this country. I believe this is our last chance to save it. And if we don't get this fixed, if we don't expose what they're doing, I believe we've lost this country.
What is so powerfully compelling about the trailer for that particular movie is it highlights the fact that we are under attack as a nation and that we have to step up and have courage and rise to the occasion and understand first and foremost that difficult truths do exist. They must be acknowledged. And then once we acknowledge them, it is our responsibility to move into action. And that's exactly what you've done. And you've certainly been obfuscated, obstructed, I would say outright attacked and persecuted for those very efforts. So do you care to give us a Reader's Digest overview of just what exactly occurred under Tina Peters' purveyorship?
You bet. I was just checking, evidently, a few days ago, both my websites, after this mysterious event happened where courtrooms and banks and couldn't access their websites, my website went on the blink and couldn't be accessed. So I was just checking with my web guy because it seemed like it had done that again. But the way this all started, I'd never been in politics, SG. I was a business owner for 32 years. I was the person that asked someone else that was involved and knowing that I trusted, who do I vote for, until the 2016 election. And then I said, after I went into a meeting of volunteers, and I was one of 8, I said, we are the people. It's us that have to stand in, to protect this nation. I started walking door to door, and I found out that everybody, I don't care if they were Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, all of them wanted our freedoms, our liberty, and and the prosperity that we had, and to be safe. They wanted to be safe. They wanted our families to have a choice of education, and all these things were very common with everyone. So I decided that I was going to I was going to put my hat in the ring and run to be of service to the people. And I picked the hardest, as it turned out, the hardest job in the county, which was the Mesa County Clerk and Recorder. And just like the name says, you're elected by the people to record things. So, we had the recording department that did all the deeds and marriage license, things like that. We had the motor V that kept records and issued, registrations, things like that, and titles. And accounting, clerk to the Board of County Commissioners, we recorded all their meetings, kept those archived. But the most important one that's come to light with this is the elections. I was commissioned when I took my oath to preserve the election records for 22 months federally and 25 months in the state of Colorado. When the Secretary of State and Dominion were coming in to do what they called a trusted build, I started to get suspicious because they wanted to delete some records. And I knew that it was my job, it didn't fall on anyone else to preserve those records. When I asked to have the public in, which I'd always done, I was always transparent with the people and would say, here, come watch the logic and accuracy test, come watch the risk limiting audit, come be part of the process. Let me take you for a tour of our elections department. Let me show you that Colorado is the gold standard and that we're definitely not connected to the internet. Well, I didn't realize I had drank the Kool-Aid like every other clerk in Colorado and around the country, and I didn't realize what was coming next. The Secretary of State and Dominion especially the Secretary of State, were very protective. They were very secretive. They didn't want anybody in. And so I felt like I needed to have an observer. So I asked my county, IT department. It went out to the administrator, the attorney, the commissioners, everything. I was denied to have an observer. So I commissioned someone that was very capable, that I felt was very knowledgeable, to do what is called a forensic image. So forensic image is a snapshot of what the computer looked like before Dominion and the Secretary of State came in, and what it looked like after. It didn't have any PII, personal identifying information, any of that. When they found out what I did a few months later, all hell broke loose. My office was raided. I was subsequently raided by the FBI. My husband was taken from me, who was in a nursing home. All of these are stories that of the lawfare and the prosecution and persecution that went down. I decided in January of 22 that I was the only one that could save. Well, I was going to run for clerk again. In February, I decided, after the J. Alex Halderman report wasn't released by the Biden administration, I'd run for Secretary of State. Right after that, I was indicted. The 7 felonies, interestingly enough, SG, the 7 felonies and 3 misdemeanors that you can see on my website, which is there on the screen, tinapeters.us. They were very careful, they meaning the DA and the Colorado Attorney General's office, and all these people that they swore in as experts were very careful to craft it so that nothing could come out about the election equipment. So when you read in that indictment, you'll see there's things like influencing a public servant, stolen identity, identity theft, things like that, and which are bogus charges, but nevertheless, without our input into the grand jury, which we had asked to give our side, the grand jury put a true bill to indict me. So the trial is coming up this week. It's coming up day after tomorrow, where they're going to want to put me in prison for 20 years. And the people need to know what they're trying to hide.
As you've been recounting that story, I'm just struggling to find anything that sounds illegal in nature. We can sit here and have intellectual and philosophical discussions until the metaphorical cattle come back to the ranch, so to speak. But fundamentally, what we have here is that you took efforts to circumvent the very deliberate efforts on behalf of Dominion voting systems, it sounds like, to destroy election records. And you took efforts to prevent that process and to circumvent that destruction. And now the same sort of corpocracy that serves at the behest of the masters of Dominion voting and the masters of various financial interests, we would say on this program, have targeted you very specifically and very purposefully for, I guess, removal from the game board, if we were to utilize some sort of terminology. So in the lead up to this trial, what has been the landscape out there with respect to, say, local media and public coverage and general flavor? Has there been a silence of the media fold and of the information landscape? Has there been an amplification in any fashion? How has that appeared?
Well, the local media and my opponent have pulled out all the stops, and of course they're governed by Polis and all the other political actors that are involved in trying to keep this this RICO, this sham that they're doing in the state of Colorado and all across the state, as well as 71 countries. So when we get into that, I'll talk about that. But they've written over 700. Charles Ashby, who is the political reporter, he calls himself, has written over 700. And I stopped counting at 700. There's been more. If you just go to dailysentinel.com or whatever their website is, and just put my name in, you'll see. And most of these, well, I would say pretty much all of them, have been front page, above the fold, full color, defaming me, telling lies about me. The one before this last one that there were 5 identifiable blatant lies to try to propagandize the people. And this has been going on for the last 3.5 years. So the last one they put in, they called this misdemeanor that's a whole nother story that I'll get into. And the reason I'm wearing an ankle bracelet right now was they called that a felony. So, it's like they print whatever they want. There's no accountability. The people out on the street, especially people that just that just move here and they want to subscribe to the paper, they have no idea. So this has been a concerted effort to taint the jury pool in Mesa County. Mesa County is only about 115,000 electors, 150,000 people, but the perception that they have put out on the street is that I should go to prison, and without any understanding of the real facts of the case.
Absolutely remarkable. So it sounds very much like a coordinated effort between powers that influence media and information exchange there within the community and powers there within the state of Colorado. It very much seems like a cooperative effort. Am I over the line in suggesting that?
No, you're very accurate, SG. As a matter of fact, Merrick Garland has been involved in this since the very beginning. When I was swept away after all this was revealed, and to Texas because it wasn't safe. My hotel room was broken into, physically broken into, and I had 24/7 armed security with me at all times. I was on a meeting that the commissioners had, and about there were Patriots trying to get about the evidence of what was going on. Merrick Garland was on there, CNN was on there, all these people. This was an open meeting, but they didn't make it open to the people, which is a violation of the Sunshine Act, by the way, which we haven't even called them up on that. But John Poulos, actually, the CEO of Dominion, who was just outed as lying under oath, saying that these machines cannot be connected to the internet, which they are, and now they're telling everybody, well, just make sure it's turned off. Well, we didn't even know how to turn them off. By law, they're not even supposed to be connected to the internet, nor have the capability. The law says nor have the capability to be connected to the internet. They're supposed to be in a standalone fashion. So it's bigger than this. This is the Biden administration. This is the same people that when you watch the movie Selection Code in 2016, including Kamala Harris, said these machines, they are meant to be hacked. That's her words. So people need to watch that movie and see that they already knew they were hacked. They just used it to their advantage. And you have people that are being what I call selected, whether they're Democrat or Republican, on both sides, that through these machines, through the electronic database that they use for registrations, all of this, it's a criminal enterprise. And we used to think that Dominion Voting Systems, their headquarters was in Denver. Now we know from FOIA requests that it's actually from Serbia. These are Serbian people. And what's going on in Venezuela right now? So Venezuela, we're talking, this extends out to 71 countries. The Philippines outed Dominion because they knew that it had been cheated. Higer Garcia went from cheating their elections, flipping their elections, to California, and then he went to Texas. And I think right now he's in, I'm trying to think of what county he's in, a big county in Texas. Higer Garcia, just remember that name. These are, remember people like Eric Coomer, who was the lead, and I've been called up for depositions, 2 depositions already, with the case Coomer suing Mike Lindell. And they asked me, they said, well, what do you have against Mr. Coomer? Well, I mean, if you look back, and they've scrubbed it, Secretary of State had scrubbed his what his title was and all that, but people can Google it. He's one of the major, he has the patents, his name's on the patents of some of the software that's able to flip votes. And when they asked me that, I said, I don't have any, I don't even know the man. I don't have anything against him. I said, but I do know that he was drunk and he drove his truck into a building, and then he left the scene and went down the bar and drank a couple shots, obviously because he was drunk, and then he lied to the police. You see the difference between when the police kept coaching him to tell the truth after he lied after lie after lie, and then you see me in a coffee shop after I left the commissioners meeting, that the commissioners who John Paulos, the CEO of Dominion, had gone to in person here in little town Mesa County, and convinced them that to sign an extension to the Dominion contract for 6 more years until 2029 with the Patriots, with the people, with the citizens, constituents of Grand Junction, filing in there, pleading with them for 3.5 hours with only 3 minutes to speak. Please, please don't sign this contract, please. But they succumbed to the devil. You can't make a deal with the devil because it will come back and bite you. So, and then I'm at this hearing. Well, I'm at a hearing the day before with my chief deputy. I'm in the audience. The DA jumps up, tells the judge that I'm recording a proceeding that is being broadcast on WebEx. The judge says, "Miss Peters, are you recording?" I said, "No, sir." And you know, I said, "This is a work day for me." And so the next day, I'm at the commissioner's hearing. They pause it for 22 minutes for my predecessor, and there'll be more coming out about her predecessor, to go get a search warrant at the sheriff's office to get the iPad that's in my purse that they accused me of recording on, because they'd missed it when the FBI raided. It's a fishing expedition. Me and the constituents walk over a block away at the coffee shop, and the police and the DA investigators converge on it, handcuff me. Look at the difference between Coomer and how I was treated. Handcuff me, 68-year-old woman, and I thought they'd broken my wrist. Pull down on it, squeeze on it. They didn't have the lock on there. I thought that, you know, and I'm in excruciating pain. I'm being pulled down to the left. My leg, as anybody would happen, goes up on the right. Then they accuse me of kicking a cop in all the media, right? So then the police hate me, and then they file charges about the iPad that I had lied to the judge. My crooked attorney wouldn't open the iPad for them to see, and then the new attorneys actually had it sent for forensic examination. There was never anything recorded on it. But I'm sporting an ankle bracelet right now for lying, for contempt and lying to the judge. So how many people with a excuse my but how many people, I don't know if you can see this or not. Let's see. How many people do you know that, can you see that, SG?
Unbelievable.
How many people do you know that that are charged with a misdemeanor have to wear an ankle bracelet? And there was never anything on the iPad. I was found guilty of something I didn't do. So this is the environment that we're in. And I wore this t-shirt especially for your audience today. So let's see if you can see that.
Stop tyranny against Tina. STAT, stat. Stop it, stat.
I love that you said that, because I had never seen that before. But you know, and that's the thing, is the tyranny is meant to take the focus off who the real criminal is. And the real criminal is the deep state, Dominion, all the actors that are involved in this globalist takeover, that are using these machines. No one's ever seen inside these machines before, SG, until I did this image. And they're calling it the Rosetta Stone. They're seeing the pattern all over, not only just the United States, but all over the world in the takeover. So
absolutely powerful. And so, Ms. Peters, I have another question then, sort of on that line before we segue into some closing remarks here, and that concerns itself with the nature of the interference that began this entire avalanche. If I'm not mistaken, when I read those forensic reports that were posted on your website, and I've tried multiple times on this end, even during our call, to get it up, and unfortunately I cannot. But I recommend for the audience out there, once the website is back and functioning, to navigate to it and read these forensic reports. And if I'm not mistaken, one of them confirmed Serbian and Venezuelan servers accessing the Colorado election in Mesa County. Is that accurate?
That is very accurate. So there are, and these are things that the judge will not let us bring out at this time. And people need to demand it. They need to, the local people here in Grand Junction, you can't have a judge that picks and chooses the evidence of why I did what I did. You know, I believed the lie. The big lie was that our computers were secure. I believed that. Even in my county, I believed that. Even though I felt like things were going on in other states and other counties. It wasn't until the people kept coming to me and kept coming to me and please, please listen to me. And I always knew, SG, who I served. I always served the people. I don't serve the Secretary of State. I don't serve the commissioners or anybody else. It's the people. And if every politician that is true to their oath would just be a voice for the people, that's why they call them representatives, but they're not. And I will go down with, however this turns out, with knowing that I did the right thing. And the people need to understand they have to get out. They have to, you know, come to the trial. They have to, I would prefer if people don't wear anything that's partisan. I love President Trump. I love MAGA, but please, please make this about a fair voting system, a transparent vote for everyone.
Indeed. And I've brought the schedule for this upcoming. I'm sort of loading the front loader, if we will, but I'm saying the upcoming kangaroo court that seems to have been impaneled here regarding this. And so we have, it looks like, trial beginning on the 31st of July at 10 o'clock in the morning local time. We're just a couple of days before that now, so it's safe to say that jury selection has already happened, and we're sort of down the gauntlet heading into the initial opening arguments. Is that correct?
That's correct. So there will be a culling, if you will, of the jury. You know, it was, I believe, 350 some, and then it'll go down to like 175, and then it'll come down even farther than that, or 150, come down even farther than that to maybe 75. So on the 31st, people will be able to see the process of jurors that are accepted or rejected and that sort of thing. The judge is going to go through and, of course, before this and get rid of a lot of the jurors. You know, just pray that the judge is fair. He has not let us he has not ruled to let us have any of our motions so far. But he has with every motion that that the DA has presented. And we're talking about a very hostile DA. We're talking about someone that we know, well, I feel that he's operating way for someone else besides just the people of Mesa County. And so, for instance, when that movie Selection Code came out, you know, I mean, he was always denying everything. He said, I couldn't go to the premiere. I couldn't leave the town to go to the premiere because they were going to hold me up as some kind of hero and for what I did in Mesa County. And it was the most troublesome, most troublesome request he had ever received. Well, this is the same guy that my attorney, the one I fired because I felt he was corrupt, was representing a guy with 26 pounds of fentanyl. And this DA, now you didn't see that in the paper, this DA let this guy go, 26 pounds of fentanyl, enough to kill half the United States, let him go on probation. But by his own admission, has spent millions of dollars coming after me. And no doubt he's going to try to get me to pay those millions of dollars of the money that this has cost the taxpayers. But let me tell you something, I didn't cost the taxpayers this money. This rabid DA and the people that are behind him have cost the taxpayers of Mesa County. And when I believe when the people see this, SG, they're going to get angry, because just like I did when I realized I was lied to, that these machines are connected to the internet. We proved it in the Mesa County report number 2, that there were election records, vital election records deleted, the proof of how you got to the results of the election. And that Mesa County report number 3, that it shows how they're able to create a second database that they're able to alter the ballot images. They're able to alter them to read some other choice. And all of that is on the website. But I encourage people to come support me if you can financially as well. Just do what you can in your own town. But this is a critical election coming up, and we need everybody involved to expose this. Go to @RealTinaPeters, please, on all your socials. I'm Tina Peters on Truth. Put things out. Tag Elon Musk, tag Tucker Carlson, tag the influencers, because I'll tell you, why isn't Tucker Carlson putting this out? You know, I mean, I love Tucker Carlson, but why isn't he speaking about this? This is the reason we have the open borders. This is the reason that we have human trafficking, fentanyl, murders, wars all over the globe. This is the reason. It's because these selected people, these people that have been put in power by fraudulent selections, are making decisions that the people don't want.
Indeed. And we've unfortunately seen that on display in our great republic over these last several years, and we're coming to learn that it's been that way for quite a long time. You know, Ms. Peters,
Yes.
you alluded to
We
my
can stop
last.
it.
I'm sorry.
I said, but we can stop it. We, the people, can stop it. It's not too late.
Indeed, we can and we will. And you alluded to my last question a moment ago when you brought up Tucker. As far as on-the-ground coverage of these events, are there any specific restrictions or considerations that Patriot citizen journalists out there who may have a few extra hours and a smartphone and a will and drive to do their civic duty, what are some considerations that they should have about coming down to the trial?
I would, they can get in touch with me, but also KREX TV is streaming it live. My attorneys are calling them today because the judge had ruled that other people could tap into the live stream, and they're trying to hoard it. They're trying to, and that's not what the judge ruled. He said that there can be that people can tap into their live stream. But if you're going to be here, what the judge said is he's going to have the jury come in first into the courtroom every day, and then he's going to have the press come in. So bring your press credentials. You know, we need people that, because I know there's Colorado Politics and all these other people that are going to show up, CNN, you know, NPR, all these people are going to show up. So I would love for good truth tellers to show up. You'll after the jury is brought in, then the media will be brought in, and then what's left of the room will be the rest of the people, the public.
Fantastic. Well, God bless you on this mission and this incredible calling. You have our support here at QMP. And for the audience out there, I hope you very much enjoyed our conversation today. I look forward to covering these events as best as I can from where I'm at, providing on-the-ground coverage if possible, but certainly reporting online. Ms. Peters, stay safe. We'll speak soon.
Thank you.
God bless
Thank you
everyone.
so much. God bless you.
Bye-bye.